What's up, YouTube? It's Winston, and you're watching Fancy Boy Jeeps. And today, I'm showing you how easy it is to install the RockJock Anti-Rock. So last episode, I went over the anti-rock and the different benefits of it and why I got it and all that good stuff. Well, today's the day. I'm gonna go ahead and try to knock that bad boy out. We have everything kind of laid out here out of the packaging. And I've already looked at some of the stuff on YouTube just to see kind of sort of like how the install is going to be, how difficult it's going to be, if I'm going to be able to do it. And honestly, man, it seems really simple. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. So the first thing we're going to do, like any smart person would do, is read the directions. We're not going to take a whole lot of time. Just know that they have the directions. And as you can see, this is one sheet of paper. So that must mean that this isn't that hard. 7 steps. So we're going to go ahead and get started. It looks like the first thing I need to do is remove that stock front sway bar, and we're going to remove it by taking off that bolt there and that one there on both sides. I've already hit it with some PV blasters, so let's go ahead and get that thing knocked out, man. So each one of these bolts is a 16. One side's pretty much loose. We're just going to repeat it on the other side. So before you disconnect this all the way, this would be a good time to go ahead and disconnect your quick disconnect or your factory link, because this is going to drop down and you want to be able to remove the whole thing at once. And like that, old sway bar out. Quick links, take them, throw them immediately in the trash. Nah. No, but for real. So now the next step is supposed to be for me to take this bushing and insert it this way. However, I'm going to do it a little bit differently. I'm going to actually put this on the frame first and then hit this. I just feel like it's going to give me a little bit better of a surface for me to hit it. So we'll go ahead and get this bolted back up with the same hardware that came out of that. I'm going to use a little bit of anti-seize because it was a pain in the tail to get these out. So we're going to use anti-seize to put those up. And then how you orient this under is just like that. The bushing is going to go towards the front bumper, and then you'll just kind of bolt it up in there. Okay, both brackets are on. Well, this side, that side. I don't have that side all the way tight, just in case I need to adjust it to be able to get the sway bar through here. But now we are going to insert the rubber bushing. This is where I was saying I think it was a little bit easier to do it this way. Boom. All right, all the way in, and then we'll just do that on the other side as well. Okay, bushing's in. So now we're gonna put the sway bar in. Easiest thing I found to do, I've seen online, is turn one steering wheel to the side. That way you can get it in. And we'll put it in. It's gonna be hard for me to do it with 2 hands, or with 1 hand rather. So I'm gonna put this in, then I'm gonna hit it from this side with the dead blow to get it through. All right, so got it hanging in. We're gonna hit this through, and pretty much we're just gonna get it all the way through so that there's equal sides or equal splines on both sides. So. And this is kind of how it should look. One side compared to the other side. And what I noticed is that when I hit the right side, it pushed the bushing out. So just be prepared to, hit that bushing back in on this passenger side. But they look pretty even to me, and we'll go on to the next step. Now we have the bushing in, and it's equal on both sides. We're gonna go ahead and put in our anti-rock arms. Before we do that, more anti-seize, just in case, man. No. Just can never be too safe. But you would just want to install it and maybe get it, you know, get it parallel to the frame rail. And then you can do the same thing on the other side with the other arm. So we're just gonna, you know, I haven't put the indices on there yet, but we're gonna do that and then kind of get it installed and line it up. So we have that in parallel. And as you can see, there is, even though we're using anti-seize, there is a such thing as called using too much anti-seize, I think. I'm slowly becoming the 10 man, but that side's in, so we're just gonna repeat it on the other side. Now that we have the arms in, we're gonna mess with this, we're gonna mess with this hardware here. And pretty much this drops in through the top here, like that, boop. Then this nut goes under there. And then we'll tighten that down. This is a 14 on the top and the bottom. Now that we have that screw in, we'll put this washer in and this little bolt that comes with, I think this is called a hex. I don't know what it's called. That'll go right there. And this just kind of keeps your arm from backing off down the line. Okay. So we have the washer installed to keep the arm from backing off. We have the bolt here to keep it from jumping off as well. Everything's lined up. The brackets all tightened up and everything. If you didn't tighten one of your brackets all the way up, this would be a great opportunity. Now, here comes the fun part. Figuring out which of these is the forward and reverse or left hand and right hand. Same thing with your ends. Enjoy that. It probably took me, all in honesty, it probably took me about 5 minutes to figure it out, which isn't that bad. And now we'll go in to setting this up and adjusting it. Now, when it comes to adjusting your sway bar end links to the correct length, they do have some proper adjustments on the side here, on the other side of the instructions. And pretty much what it wants you to do is it wants you to jack your Jeep up and let your lift and your suspension articulate, and then you're supposed to get it somewhere in the middle. I don't have a lift big enough for that or like a jack big enough for that. Everything I've seen, the bars have set a little above parallel. All the pictures I've seen, everything's set a little above parallel. So we're gonna set that. And the good thing about this is because my daughter's enjoying them, because they are double adjustable. If I find that when I can go over to a friend's house and look at them and see that maybe they're not adjusted correctly, it won't take me but maybe 5 or 10 minutes to make them longer or shorter, depending on my suspension and depending on your suspension. So we'll go ahead and get that set in place. And like I said, I'm gonna do a little bit above parallel, and that's really about it, and bolt everything down, man. All right, so this is pretty much what it should look like. I think that this is a good height for me. That looks, so I'm parallel, like I said, that's a little above parallel. I measured on both sides with like a level to make sure that I was really, really close, and I was pretty freaking close. So now we are going to tighten up that there, top and bottom. And this is how it should be oriented. The top part should be on the outside of the anti-rock, and the bottom part should be on the inside of the sway bar sway bar axle mount. The inside, that is a 14, this is a 19. So we'll get those two tightened up, get the jam nut tightened up, and then we're done. And like that, man, we're done. So all good, all in. I see some places that I'm probably gonna have to trim. My metal cloak suspension gives me quite a bit of up travel, so I'm gonna probably have to cut this. I feel like this is gonna contact here. And then on the other side, I'm probably gonna have to do the same thing, but I also have to figure out how to get this off from my metal cloak. It was not wanting to come out, so we're gonna figure out how to get that off, because that's gonna connect, obviously, like that's gonna connect on a bump. So I kind of need to get that figured out ASAP. But all in all, man, I got that thing installed. I would probably say maybe like an hour and a half. The only issues I really ran into were getting, let's let that car go by. The only issue I really ran into was getting my sway bar bolts out. I mean, they've never been taken out, so that was a little bit of an issue. Other than that, everything was very, very straightforward, man. And I really like how it looks. I'm gonna go test drive it, make sure how I like it. And then what I'll do, man, is I will test drive it, I'll wheel it, and I'll give you guys an update on how I like it and if it limited my articulation. Trust me, I know how much articulation I was able to get before, so I'll let you know if I experienced any limit for the down travel for articulation or anything like that. But other than that, man, I really hope that, you know, if you watch this video, you picked up some tips, you saw how easy it was for you to do it yourself. If you have any comments, go ahead and drop it in that comment section. If you have any questions, drop it in there as well. If you like the video, go ahead and make sure you hit that like button. If you're not, go ahead and subscribe. Make sure you hit that notification bell button. That way you know when I'm dropping any of these videos. If you're on Instagram, follow me at Rain This Way. But most importantly, keep those Jeeps fancy, boys.